regular board meeting. Today is August 20th. And if you would, please stand if you can and join us for the pledge. And if you please remain standing after. Thank you. I pledge one nation, under God. Please remain standing if you can. We lost someone very wonderful in the legislature. Representative Casello passed away. He was a great man. His door was always open to anyone, and he worked very hard for Palm Beach County and across the party lines, which is always a wonderful thing if that can be accomplished. Tonight happens to be his memorial, and unfortunately, because of our meeting tonight, we can't be there. So I'd like just to take a moment of reflection and remember this wonderful man that we lost much too soon. Thank you, everyone. Okay, Scarlett, roll call, please.
Frank Palin.
Mary Viator.
Michael Johnson.
Richard Vassalotti.
Elizabeth Accomando.
Trisha Farrell.
Boy.
Laura Donlin.
Burgess Hanson. We also have Daniel Ray with Stormwater J with the district engineer on Zoom. And then also Miss Argue has asked for an excused absence tonight.
Thank you.
Rob Robinson.
Raquel McIntosh. Miriam Heiser.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. We appreciate you being here, of course. I just want to remind everyone, please silence your cell phones if you have not already. If you need to have conversation amongst the audience, please step outside to do that so it doesn't disturb the meeting. I also want to remind everybody to go to our website, indiantrail.com. There's so much information on there. A lot of questions can be answered. And you can also now post your public comment online. If you can't make a meeting, you can enter it there prior to the meeting. If you go to, again, the website, the homepage, click on submit your comment card. Halfway down, you see where to submit it. And we're just trying to do everything possible to make participation for the residents smooth and more convenient. So thank you again for being here. We appreciate it. And I'm going to do something. I always tend to go my right to left. So what I'm going to start doing, and you might have to remind me if I forget, I'm going to start in order of the board appointments. So I'm going to start with Michael still. Michael.
I'm good. Thank you.
And so then Ms. Argue is not here tonight, so it will go to Mr. Vassalotti.
Welcome, everyone, and congratulations on surviving the North Lake shutdown. We might talk about that a little bit later. We'll see, but welcome tonight.
Patty?
I concur with the North Lake shutdown. I don't think it was as bad as we were all expecting it to be. That's all I have. Thanks, everybody. It's nice to see so many new faces out here getting involved with the community. Thank you.
Yes, I definitely want to thank PBSO and Palm Beach County Fire Rescue, Palm Beach County Engineers, the IT department, of course, Mr. Hanson, Mr. Robinson, our staff did a fantastic job. We were over prepared, which I think is a great thing to always be over prepared, expect the worst and hope for the best. And that's what we did. There were a few glitches in evening rush hour because there was a bunch of accidents. We had a lot of rain. But as we all probably know, evening rush hour is pretty tough anyway. So great job done by all. So I just want to make sure that everyone gets the recognition they deserve for doing such a wonderful job with that. And with that said, let's move on. Agenda approval. Do we have any additions, deletions, or substitutions?
Yes, one minor item. This is an item on the consent agenda 11.9. the ratification of certain agreements between Indian Trail and Rickville Macintosh CPA. Just a date change. It's on your, actually, it's both in the staff report and on the agenda, on the fourth page of the agenda at the top. There are four recommended motions. The last motion deals with termination of senior accountant agreement. It says effective January 31st. It should be June 20th, 2025. That's the only change.
Okay. So, Mary, I'm going to ask for your guidance here. We could just adjust the date accordingly.
Yes.
Move forward. Okay, very good.
So can I just make a motion to accept the agenda?
You may.
Make a motion to accept.
Okay, we're back up over here, so you can make your motion.
Right in time.
Thank you, Carrie. Do we have a second? Michael. Okay. All in favor? All right, see that passes 4-1. All right, we have a presentation to do. And, oh, you know what? I did forget one thing. PBSO asked if we can move them up. So can we swap 6-2 and 6-3? Is that possible? If the board doesn't mind, so he can get back. He's the only sergeant on duty tonight. So is he here?
Yeah.
There you are. Oh, there, I didn't see you. Sorry. Okay. Do we mind doing that? Just letting him go before fire? And I don't even see fire here, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. Okay. So let's do the presentation. There we go. May I have Mrs. Ted, Aiden Long, and Dylan? Did anyone else that came along? Yes. Oh. So. So before I get started, I just want to say thank you, and I just want to explain to our residents what we're doing here today. So for the past, how many years? For the past 5 years, this family on 4th of July, right before 4th of July, goes out and puts American flags on people's fences. And I am so proud of this community and the patriotism that you inspire in not only your children, but others' children and our community as a whole, and the love for the country, which is just amazing. So we want to honor you for doing this, because this is not something you have to do. It's something that you want to do because you love our country so much. So I'll get right to it. This is resolution 2025 -015. It's a resolution of appreciation of the Board of Supervisors of Indian Trail Improvement District to the Peg family and friends. Whereas in 2020, during COVID, Christina Long Peg and her sons Aiden and Dylan of Loxahatchee, Florida, began installing free flags on their neighbors' mailboxes and fences. Whereas wanting to continue sharing the celebration of freedom and patriotism, the flag installation became an annual event. And whereas since 2020, over 435 flags have been installed. That's amazing. And whereas throughout the years, there have been helpers such as Nico Gralla, Jamie Gralla, Marco Maldonado, Zach Ellis, Daniel Ellis, and Isabella Basile. And I hope I said that right. And be it resolved that the Indian Trail Improvement District, its Board of Supervisors, and each individual member thereof, and its officers and staff hereby express their sincere and deep appreciation to Christina Long Peg and her sons, Aiden Long and Dylan Peg, for their outstanding commitment to patriotism and sharing it with the Loxahatchee community. Be it further resolved that this resolution be made a part of the permanent record of the district and a copy thereof be duly signed and awarded to Ms. Pegg and her sons and all of their helpers as of this date, the 20th of August, 2025. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I don't want to break it, so I'm gonna spin a little bit. What? Thank you.
Well, maybe you can see.
Chair, Chair, how about one of
Yes. Oh, that's a great, you know what? Can we go have a flag?
Wasn't doing that.
A lot of sense, right?
I said it.
Why don't you sit down? We can get this table back in there. Come on, guys. Thank you, Lincoln. Thank you.
It was his idea.
Yeah, that's all right, everybody, that's this much more observing.
I'm gonna go this way.
Where's Mama? Come on, Mama.
Sorry. Okay, get out of the way.
Don't break it here. Yeah, see? Not just me. Oh, there you go. You gotta be in the picture too. Next year you'll be out there too. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. Good job. Okay. Okay, PDSO, you're up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm not going to be able to top that one. I can tell you that right now. Every year I look forward to getting a little flag by my mailbox as well. So that's great that you guys were able to do that.
Thank you so much. You're so welcome. Good night.
Captain Sant and Lieutenant Sowers unfortunately weren't able to make it tonight, but they wanted to send their regards. I guess they come to a lot of these meetings. My name's Sergeant Anthony Del Plato. I work the night shift out here. So occasionally you will see me or deal with me on occasion. I can tell you right now, right for tonight, I'm here to present, I guess, the traffic stats that have been going on since the beginning of the month, August 1st through the 15th. So whatever's happened in the last couple of days will be on the next sheet. As far as accidents, there's been 18 accidents within that period, 4 of them with confirmed injuries, and the other 14 have been without injuries. This includes hit and runs, parking lot crashes, and obviously, main crashes on the roadways out here, specifically just for Indian Trails. A majority, after reviewing the stats for the cause of the crashes, are either following too closely, failure to yield the right of way, which could be, not paying attention to stop signs, or somebody trying to piggyback for a red light, thinking they can make it, or just, a legal U-turn or left turn into oncoming traffic. We've all heard these stories. And the other ones are following too closely and operating a motor vehicle in a careless and negligent manner. Sorry about that. A majority of them, they're kind of spaced out amongst the district, but it seems that after reviewing the map, most of them are on the main roads, whether it be the northern part of Royal Palm Beach Boulevard, which seems to get a lot of traffic, as well as Seminole Pratt, specifically near Orange Boulevard, which, with all the construction, also gets a considerably amount of traffic. For that intersection, we've had 4, but that does incorporate 3 of them, which happen in the parking lots, because there's the Publix and restaurants over there. The other cluster was over at West Sycamore and Seminole Pratt, which is also another busy intersection. But other than that, there hasn't been any specific areas of concern where it seems to be piling up as far as traffic crashes. I know you spoke about the North Lake shutdown, which, obviously there were a lot of people coming through our city that we usually don't have increase in the traffic. So it's just more people that, either were distracted or not paying attention or trying to hurry because everybody was told it could take an extra hour or so before you get to where you need to go. I can tell you, I spoke to Captain Sand briefly about it. He was working the command post. He had mentioned that it basically went pretty seamless. Fortunately, it ended a few days early. So that was great for everybody, but they really didn't have any major issues that came up, I think, because they were well prepared and had the extra deputies to help with traffic and get on those accidents fairly quickly. We still got to navigate through the traffic as well. So that can slow down, a response at times. But that's all the information I have as far as the traffic. If anybody has anything.
Thank you. Michael?
No. Okay. Thank you very much. Oh, did somebody else?
Rick, you good? Patty? All right, thank you very much, back to work.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's the only one on tonight, so we need him on the street more than we need him in here. And I saw District Chief Famero came in. Where is she? There she is. You want to come up? Thank you.
Good evening.
Hello.
Thanks, everybody.
We are
Survived the
wonderful.
North Lake Road closure.
We did.
Sorry, I missed the little brief if you've already discussed or updated on that, but
Well, we did, and we thanked each and every one of you involved, PPSO, Fire Rescue, County Engineer, IT, our staff, great work. So thank you. It was a very unified, fluid effort as we expected, and it was wonderful. So thank you for everything.
yes, it was our pleasure and I'm very happy, as well as everyone else is, that it went as smoothly as it did and that they were able to open it a little bit sooner. We had a very nice compliment from the FDOT. They said we have done major projects and this by far has been the smoothest. We've done smaller projects and haven't had more disaster than this large event with no disasters. And I really do think that's because of the preparation, the messaging, trying to get ahead of it, doing the unified command post, having real time with the 2 drone teams out there and being able to go out and see where the traffic is really backing up and then getting, the officers out there with the pickle to get the traffic moving. And so having that right there all in the same room and everything was happening, it worked out very well. So, yes.
It was very impressive.
Thank you. We talked last time maybe about doing a quarterly report, but I
Yes.
did not prepare a quarterly report,
That's
but I
fine.
do have last month's if you want me to review that.
Sure.
Okay. So for last month, you had a total of 275 calls. The average dispatch handling time was 43 seconds. The average turnout time was 48 seconds. The total overall travel time was 6 minutes and 45 seconds for an overall total incident response time of 8 minutes and 15 seconds. 20 of those were vehicle accidents. 209 of those were medical calls. And we had 7 fires. 10 fires.
Mm.
And yes, and then 14 investigations or assists. So
And we recently had a fire in a garage. Was that a lithium battery?
yes, it
Correct.
was.
Yeah, so
Yes.
everybody needs to be really careful
It was the
with those
charger, I believe.
chargers. Yeah, unplugging those chargers.
Yeah.
Everything is, these lithium batteries now, and even the phone chargers that have the lithium batteries in them, you have to be careful with. So
Yes.
everybody needs to be mindful of that.
So a lot of times the biggest culprit is overcharging. You can't just set it and forget it and go back to it several days later. When it's charged, unplug it. And also they do need ventilation. So open the garage door every now and then to just get some ventilation in there. That helps quite a bit. But don't overcharge the batteries.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other
Mike?
questions?
Of course.
So I'm on the council with Solid Waste Authority and proper disposal of
Yes.
your charge of the batteries is very important also. And there's actually, I believe, you can either dispose of them at the facility or at Lowe's, I think is another place, because they're finding that if it gets slightly damaged, wet, dented or anything, it could start a fire that way too. So it's very those batteries are not very safe sometimes, so.
Interesting.
So
use
we
them for
actually,
precaution.
Community Risk Reduction actually partners with Solid Waste Authority to come out and do presentations for municipalities and for public safety committees. And so if you were interested in having us do a presentation one night for the residents, we'd be more than happy to. Just send me the request and we can set that up.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening. You too. Okay, on to the regular agenda, 7.1. Consider fiscal year 2026 budget adjustment for Unit 20 assessments regarding the M2 impoundment expansion aggregate production department. We have two options. One is to put Unit 20 Santa Rosa Groves in, and one is to leave them out. I would, if the board doesn't mind, I spoke with the residents. It's clear that because of the size of the lots, it's not a fair buy-in for the residents with the large lots, especially the ones that are 40 acres. So the residents would appreciate, and I believe we did receive an email from one of the residents as well, if we would choose option 2. So unless the board would like any other information, I would ask for a motion.
Trying.
One of the questions I did have was,
Yes.
I mean, what's the longevity of this? 'Cause I saw Rob put together a cost analysis and, so they'll be paying market price for any stone and gravel needed out there then?
Through the chair. Sorry, I don't have a thing to raise.
It's okay.
So, yes, for this upcoming fiscal year 26, any material that will be used for maintenance of their current roads that they have or for bond-related capital projects would come directly from Palm Beach aggregate at whatever that commercial price is. And then in the future, what I'm hoping is during fiscal year 2026, Ms. McIntosh, legal, engineering, and I and staff would like to come to the board with some ideas on better revenue assessment collection. For instance, with stormwater pervious versus impervious rather than per acre. And one of the things that I've discussed with Mr. Robinson is, is there a way that we can look at for fiscal year 27, a different way of charging the aggregate since we'll be a full year into the production process? And remember, this is actually the M2 impoundment expansion project more than that. We're just using the aggregate material to recycle it, and then it moves to the M1 impoundment expansion. But we would look at that for not only unit 20, but for all the units that are currently involved. And then what we would have to do at that point is just figure out what that buy-in would be for that 1 year that they missed and try to minimize it. But again, that would be business decision for the board.
Say, no, that makes sense, if the way to, that average, lot and acre and a quarter or so, if you were to structure it that way for payment, because, you hate to see them miss out on a price opportunity, but then again, I got the entire rest of the community that's buying in and, getting the savings. So, and then for them to see, skip out a year and then all of a sudden it's great and we are up and running and now they're, benefit from the savings without, just moving forward, but.
Yeah, we did look into some things, but it's a little complicated. Right, Mary? So we're gonna figure it out, aren't we? We're gonna figure it out so it's fair for everybody across the board, right? Especially something like this. And another option that we have out there, instead of buying the aggregate from Palm Beach aggregate at 20 a ton, we could replace that with millings, which is much cheaper. They did that on Carroll Street. It was some surplus stuff that couldn't really be used in the road program because they were too large. And rather than just having them sit and going to waste, they threw them out there. And I'll tell you, it's not it's not sealed or anything like that. It was just put in on top, not even mixed in, but just from everyone driving over it, and it's working. And we're not looking out there for roads like everyone in the rest of the district is. We just want to be able to get down them, and we don't, right. We just want to be able to get down them without getting stuck, and we don't want to flood. This is, that, I think that'll be sufficient until we can work out, like Mr. Hanson said, something a little bit more equitable for everyone in the district. So with that, I have a motion from Ms. Farrell. Do I have a second? Yes, please. Gotcha. And second by Mr. Vassalotti. Do we have any public comment? As I said, we had an email from Mr. Dirks, who requested the board to choose option 2, so I'm sure he would be very happy. He might be listening right now, but I can't see who is online. So with that, we'll call the vote. All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Thank you.
There was no
Okay,
free.
great. No advance cards. Okay, so we can call the vote as soon as Ms. Scarlett's ready. Okay, see that it passes 4-0. Item 7.2, consider adjustments to the Board of Supervisors policies and procedures. I'm looking for a motion to approve the revised policies and procedures. Okay, I have a motion by Supervisor Farrell. Second by Supervisor Vassalotti. Do we have any cards or raised hands? Nothing? Okay, we could call a vote. See that it passes 4-0. Item 7.3, consider executive director performance evaluation. We will be looking for a motion to receive and file the completed performance evaluations and performance evaluation summary for placement in Mr. Hanson's personal file. The board must consider whether to award an increase in base salary pursuant to the employment agreement, and the board may consider whether to provide additional benefits. And I'm going to flip it to our attorney, Laura Domlin.
Thank you very much, Ms. Accomando. So as many of you are aware, I know we only have one semi-new board member who hasn't been through the evaluation process yet. But I do like to remind folks, both whether anybody has public comment or even on the dais, just a reminder that most of us who work out in the world do get to have a private performance evaluation. So it is a difficult circumstance generally. So I do want to remind folks, maintain your professionalism with whatever the comments may be as we go forward. So with that, each board member has had an opportunity certainly to speak with Mr. Hanson over the past month or so if they chose to, and also have provided me the evaluation forms. As we heard earlier, Ms. Argue is absent unexpectedly, but excused as I understand it. And with that said, under the contract, the board can still proceed because it is based on the majority of the board members in attendance. So we can move forward there. And as you mentioned, the contract provides that the board endeavors to evaluate annually, usually by January or June, excuse me, but we had some scheduling issues this year. So with that said, you are able to consider modifications to salary and or benefits if you so choose, because Mr. Hanson's final evaluation score averaged among the four of you is a 4.97. So congratulations. Before going forward, if I can share some information with you all in terms of things you may want to consider that Mr. Hanson has shared with me, in terms of whether you'd like to do any type of compensation adjustment or other changes. Would that be of help? Okay. And just as a reminder, I do represent the board. And so while Mr. Hanson shares information with me for efficiency and sharing it with you all, I do represent you all and not Mr. Hanson, although all other times of the year, we work very closely together. With that said, Mr. Hanson has requested, if you all were to be so inclined, that a 5% increase might be appropriate, given that that is what the employees of the district were eligible for in the current fiscal year. And this is Mr. Hanson's 2025 evaluation. Additionally, Mr. Hanson suggested the board may want to consider extending the term of the agreement. The term presently ends in September of 2029, and he has suggested maybe 2032, so a few years out from that. And additionally, as you may recall, or at least those of you who are on the board at the time, in the past number of years, Mr. Hanson's vacation leave accruals have been adjusted. And presently, the way those accruals work is similar to the personnel policies for regular employees, where they are capped such that he's not able to carry over more than 280 hours per year at the end of the fiscal year. And if he were to leave employment for any reason, the vacation leave accruals that were unused at that time would be paid out. And Mr. Hanson has requested that that be increased to a cap of 400. So it's not an increase in accrual, but an ability to carry over more to the next fiscal year. With the wage adjustment, if the board is so inclined to do one, that does not require an amendment to the contract. If the board would like to make those other changes, it does require an amendment. And as I had spoken with the board president before, we can certainly do that tonight and prepared to make some adjustments on a brief break if need be.
Thank you. Could you just go over for the record, the average salary, that the calculation that we had discussed, for similar positions throughout?
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for the reminder. So in years past, including this year, we have looked typically at 5 other special districts and 6 other municipalities in the local area. Often one is a little bit out of sorts with everybody, so we usually don't use those numbers. And I didn't do that this year either. But when you look at those entities combined, the range presently is from 210, 649 up to 249, 375. And so the midpoint of all those entities combined, excluding the one outlier, is $230,012, and the average is $231,963.81.
And I don't know if you can answer this question. A lot of special districts are specific to, say, just drainage or just one service. Thank you. Spit it out. And we're not going to name names, right? Because we don't want to do that. But did you, in your research, did you find that with those other special districts in your comparisons?
So what I will say is, yes, as we know, being involved in special districts, each is extremely unique.
Right.
So with that said, you're not necessarily always going to be able to compare apples to
Right.
apples.
Right.
So I'm not sure if that's helpful, but specifically, looking at various sizes of the entities and number of employees and things like that, there are some that have, similar number of employees, but they have a much larger budget, or they may have a much lower number of employees and a similar budget. And so it varies, but it gives you a general idea of what's going on in Palm Beach County.
Okay, very good. Thank you. All right. Michael, do you have anything?
I just I'd like to make note that when you mentioned you left out one of the outliers, that it wasn't low, it was extremely high.
Thank you.
So
That was
it wasn't like we were skewing the average by leaving out a low number. It was keeping the average down.
Yes. Like, well, not keeping it down, just trying to make it.
Or not down, yeah, real.
Right, just like
To
we
be
do
fair.
every,
I mean, it's
every, right?
foundation, nothing.
Thank you for that information. I did a little research myself, probably in some different areas, and I found that the average increase was anywhere from 4 to 6%, with 5% being an average. Looking at what Mr. Hanson is asking for is average. And I believe you're an above average administrator. So I'm very comfortable with the 5%. And then if anybody else wants to talk about some of those other things, we can chime in on those.
Any? Mike?
After my conversation with Ms. Donlin last night, seems like we asked some of the very same similar questions. Wanted to make sure that we are falling in range with municipalities and special districts, because I think our district is very unique with the things we are responsible for. And some of the fires, many of the fires that Burgess tends to put out for us, you know, and some of the legal issues that we tend to deal with on a day-to-day. So, I feel, after speaking with Ms. Donlin, that the 5% is very respectable increase due to performance. I think you go above and beyond. I think on your vacations, I think you are working on your vacations. And for that, I am in favor with amending the contract to add the 400-hour rollover. And the extension of contract.
You're adding up to 400.
Up to 400.
Right, we're
Yeah, up
increasing it to 400.
400, yeah.
I just want
Correct,
that
yes. So
clear.
we'd be capping it at 400 vacation rollover. So amending that and then amending the extension of the contract to 2032. I think we are very fortunate that you would be willing to stay with us that much longer. So I appreciate you. I do appreciate the things that you do and you know, the personalities that we get to deal with here, you know, so thank you. So I am in favor, and if I need to, I'll make that motion for the 5% performance pay, amend the 400-hour cap vacation rollover and extension of the contract to 2032.
Okay, do we have a second? Yes. That's okay. Oh, okay, Richard got it. I concur with Supervisor Farrell, and I appreciate that you are willing to stay until 2032. We have a lot coming down the pike, a lot that you've started, and a lot we need you here to finish. So you could just say, hey, you know what, this is, you know, we got some real hurdles and, you know, I'm out in 29 and you're not. So I really appreciate that, Mr. Hanson. And you do a fantastic job juggling what's never easy in this district. And you're a good leader. You're a great leader. And we appreciate you. And I don't know that you hear that enough. You know, we kind of throw you around all over the place, you know, do this and then, oh, wait, no, we want this done instead. And now this becomes a priority. And, you know, we've got you shifting gears constantly. And you're really great about going with that flow and trying to make it all happen. So, and right. And then go back like, and I'm just going to kind of switch gears for a second. If you haven't been up front yet, it's been how many years? Several years ago, quite a few years ago, the board approved some fortifying up front, 5 years, and materials were purchased and everything. And then priorities shifted over to the park and getting the fields redone. And the fields are done, everything is handled, and hey, we had a minute, and now the front is done. And the safety of our staff and everyone in this room is crucial, and it's done, and it's beautiful. So, you know, sometimes things don't always get done when, you know, we put it out there because, again, our priorities change. Everything we do every day, everything changes. And the fluidity that you're able to move is very much appreciated. So I am absolutely in favor of this motion. And with that, I will call up. Yeah, I call for public comment.
May I just speak first?
Yes, of course.
Thanks.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, you can't.
I don't know.
Was there a second?
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
So Ms. Donnellan, you're good to go. Thank you.
Not yet. I have to do your.
Oh, you have to do the amendment. All right,
And
well,
make sure you.
do that
the
and,
motion.
okay. Okay,
I'll finish working in a.
all right.
Not leaving.
Not getting off that easy, I guess. Sorry.
First of all, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's great working with all of you and vision that you have for the district and also the courage you have for taking on what are very complicated and oftentimes contentious matters, not only internally to the district, but impacts from outside the district. And that's part of the reason why, I thought about it. And when I was meeting with Ms. Donlin, I said, I'd like to extend through 2032 because with the 640 expansion of the M1 impoundment, that's probably one of the most important priorities that we have. We've been able to put a lot of pieces in place to keep that moving forward. And you just won't get me through 2032, but I forced Mr. Robinson to stay on. Yes, because he was planning on retiring.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Rob.
But he will be an intricate part of that because the front end of it will be dealing with a lot of regulatory issues at the federal and state and even county level, which he has experience with, and so do I. But more importantly, Mr. Robinson will play a key role in the construction of that, along with Mr. Foy and his team. So that's part of the reason why I'm staying here. The other part is I just don't
You love us.
see that. Yeah, there's that. But the residents out here, I just don't want to see them lose what they have out here to external forces. So, and I've always
I
been very
agree.
open about that.
I
So
agree.
again, thank you very much. I appreciate
Absolutely.
the consideration.
Absolutely. Thank you for everything that you do and deal with. All right, public comment. Ms. Scarlett.
Sharon Wade. I have to do this.
Oh, you can move it. It's flexible.
Oh, I know,
There you go.
but I didn't want to miss this chance to say that I understand how difficult things can be. I've worked in the public most of my life, from one career to the other. When I retire from one, I go to another. This has got to be incredible. I understand. But those of us that work out in the field, if you want to call it that, haven't had a raise in years. So I would appreciate if anything you pay out is modest. I can't even afford to go on a vacation. So when I see in the budget some of these figures, I feel I cringe because I can't even do that. For all the years I put in, I can't even do that. So now that I'm by myself, I go, gee, I could sure use the rest. But modesty, we don't mind. I speak for several people, but mainly myself. I would appreciate if it were modest because last year was a big hit. This year's bigger. And it really bothers me. And I'm probably not the only one. So I just want to make sure everybody knew that.
Thank you. I'd just like to add that last year the taxes didn't go up at all. And that included the all across the board staff increases that are performance based. So not everybody is going to get the highest increase. It's going to be going by performance. Scarlett, who's next, please? That's it? Okay, let's call the question, please. All in favor? We'll get there. It's only the third time, so we're good. Okay, see that it passes 4-0.
And Madam Chair, before we move on.
Yes,
If I could ask you to request a motion to receive and file the individual evaluation forms and the summary.
yes. Do I have a motion to receive and file the individual evaluation forms and motion summary? Can we amend the
I'm
motion?
going to defer to Mary. on-
We already
Yeah,
voted.
Yeah, that's fine, but we can go ahead and.
And
just
add that into-
That motion.
Okay, we're good.
Those, that
Do I
component.
need to make that official and amend the motion?
Sure. We'll
I
just
amend
say,
the motion to add, what did you ask for?
Motion to receive and file.
To receive and file.
and then for the individual.
The evaluation.
And the summary.
Yep.
We can do that.
So that's the
way the motion was, which I kind of combined both of them.
Oh,
Okay.
so she's already ahead of us.
Motion to receive and file. Okay.
No, something's not right. Oh, no, it is right. I'm sorry. Sorry, the writing is too small.
Yeah, and that
You're good?
incorporates the fact that it is an
Yes.
amendment to the contract.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, so we're good. All right. Thank you very much. Now you can go.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to 7.4, approval of Palm Beach County Special Permit 0426, North Lake Boulevard from east of Hall to Coconut. I'm looking for a motion to approve SP-0426 with conditions and attachments. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Foy? No? All right, looking for a motion. Motion by, there we go, Supervisor Johnson, second by Supervisor Farrell. Do we have any comments or raised hands?
You get an explanation on what that really is.
Mr. Foy? Sure.
Just the next phase in the widening.
Yeah,
Yes, it's in the background. I can go through the full presentation or give you the brief.
I think
version.
brief is
The brief
sufficient.
version is it's a drainage
You
connection.
could always go back and look in the agenda back up.
It's a drainage connection to serve North Lake Boulevard expansion. The beginning of the work from the west is the canal just west of Hall. It's east of Hall.
West.
Just east of Hall, I believe, yes. And it goes through to Coconut, but not the intersection. Most of it is, well, all of it is either 2 or 3 lanes. There's a drop lane on the north side going west. When it becomes 2 lanes, it goes from 3 to 2.
Mhm.
As I said, it's a drainage connection permit. The additions of medians at the places we requested, 140th, Greatview, are included in the plans. There are 2 lakes that are proposed, and they're very large because of regulatory criteria, which is expanded, which I won't get into. They meet our surface water management policy. Because these do not have a direct connection to a canal, these lakes, we did not put the condition in there that we would own and maintain the lakes afterwards. There is no advantage for us doing that. I think that summarizes it pretty much. They meet our policies. I want to get into something else under other government reports that would include this, but. Oh, one last thing. The intersection of 140th and North Lake. I asked if there was a signalization included. The answer is it probably will be, but they will not include that in the plans until they assess whether the traffic warrants it. They go by warrant. The
Mhm.
answer is it's got to be, but
They won't
it's
do it
not-
now.
Not included in the plan, so they couldn't say yes for sure, but the answer is most likely.
Right.
So if you want any other explanations, we can go into the specifics of the plan, but I think that covers
fine.
everything.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any cards, Carl? Nothing? Okay, let's call the question. Do we have a motion we have a motion.
Yes.
We did that already. So yes, so we need the vote. Okay, see that it passes 4-0. Other governmental updates. Mr. Foy, you want to just give us a briefing on West End Crossing? I know that we're all chomping at the bit for the 28th to come. and see what's going to happen there. I will mention, if anybody is not aware, the Acreage Landowner Association has got a poll going. The county requested, well, it can't just say no, they're going to build something. So what do you want to see? The Acreage Landowner Association put out some options. You can add your own options. If you go to their website, acreagelandownersassociation.com, you can find that there. And basically, we're in the same place we've been all along. They do not meet the drainage requirements of the district. So it's going to be a wait and see what happens on the 28th if they come up with a way to do it. And Mr. Foy, if you want to elaborate any further?
Yeah, there's two things. One for this, the West End crossing. I presented a summary to the board. I think it was in March
Mhm.
or May. And I wrote a letter to the county with that exact same content and expressing the opinion that the district engineer does not believe that it meets the legal positive outfall. Also stating that as currently presented, it doesn't meet our surface water management policy yet. At this stage in the game, it's not required to prove that it does, but it's clear that they need the permit and they will have to meet our policy. The last comment I made in the email was that we are not commenting on traffic because these entrances are county roads, North Lincoln's and Seminole Flat. So I think that I back up everything that you said.
Yes,
And
thank you.
And
that's
where we
all.
stand right now.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to look at that, you can find it on the website. If you go to the agenda under this item, all the backup is there for review. So you could see the most recent email sent to county staff about this.
If that's it on that item, I would like to move on to the update for Vintage Oaks.
Yes, please.
Vintage Oaks is our newest unit of development that is trying to activate hopefully in September, and they also need a special permit. We did have our meeting in South Florida Water Management District. It was a conference call. The head of regulation did say that he would look into having the same discharge granted to us that is coming in. That was a big concern, especially by Supervisor Arby last month. That is above his ability to just give that answer to us, so he's checking with the higher ups. During the conversation, he asked if we were going to apply for additional discharge. This is only one CFS. I responded, I didn't want to because I think that since you granted the permit to allow in, it should be allowed out, just administratively. But it started the brain working. To go along with what Mr. Hanson said earlier, the 640 acre is a big project because it's adding 640 acres. We will get 1 inch per day from that, which is 27 CFS. In the conversation with water management, I mentioned we accept drainage from like the North Lake project that we're just approving. 3,500 acres from Southeast Corbett, other sections of North Lake Boulevard, the Acreage Community Park and the environmental area, and maybe some others. So, and we also want to modify our operations structures, control structures at 40th and the road structure. I'm sorry, 40th and the Amogate. So the idea that I thought with Mr. Hanson today was we do need to apply for the permit modification, but with 640, we are also going to ask for increased discharge from all these other areas that we serve that we haven't been granted. The original permit did not have those in there. Now, Vintage Oaks is different because it is in what's called a zero discharge basin. So that's why he's having to go further up. They aren't allowed discharge during the storm because of the way the Corps of Engineers analyzed it. But there is a potential that we get a significant amount more discharge based on all these other things that come into it. That is the idea I'm floating for you. I'm not asking for any motion, but that's an update of where we are.
Excellent. And when was the original permit granted? How long ago?
It's been modified several times. In the 80s is when it.
In the 80s. So
went
look at
down.
the development since the 80s, just in the acreage alone, let alone what surrounds us. So I certainly hope that they would be agreeable. This modification is necessary. So thank you for stepping up and getting this done. I appreciate that. Okay.
Through
Mr.
the
Hanson.
chair, just to complement that, this is a really good idea that Mr. Foyt came up, because every application you put in with South Florida Water Management is approximately $10,000.
Yeah, so if we could
Just the
cover,
Filing fee.
so we can combine,
Yes.
excellent. That'll save 60, $70,000.
Yeah, and then just one last thing, I'll let you explain it because it's more engineering, so, but the cost for water storage now for, what is it, per acre, foot? What, can you just give a brief update on that? It's $20,000. That's just
Wow.
significant.
How many aggregates now by LA for LA can be?
Your mind's.
The idea of analyzing how much water storage was worth came out of what was the LA reservoir, now called the LA flow equalization basin. So you pay for an amount of volume of water that you store for later use as water storage or for environment. In our case, we want to empty it to get floods control. In the 640, we might want to save it, so it works both ways. But in the LA aggregate, they evaluated what they thought it would be worth to store an acre foot of water. And that's where that number came from. And so it's quite valuable. Just as an example, if you get, let's just say you got at a 640, you got 500 acres of vertical storage. 500 acres and 4 feet, that's 2,000 acre feet of storage. You multiply that times 25,000, you can see value. And that's a lot of money. And by the way, we negotiated with DL Homes to get that $24 million piece of land for free as part of our support for the project. So this is a big deal for Evan Drive.
So I just bring that up because I forgot to ask you that earlier with the aggregate, but that's why the impoundment expansions with the M2 and the M1 are so important. Because you're gaining valuable storage that other people are paying significant amounts for to offset. Our taxpayers won't
Right.
necessarily have to do that.
Right, and the aggregate will help to balance the cost somewhat. And if you look at in perpetuity, the water we're going to be able to store, whatever cost is incurred will be made up for in the future. So yeah, it's definitely clearly and much needed program. And again, I'm still grateful that the state gave us some assistance with really getting it rolling. And I look forward to really getting started on that. Excellent.
I just have two quick updates with other governmental. The one technically,
Trying to get Carrie's attention.
Carrie,
Carrie, can you lower the temperature a little bit? It's a little warm. Thank you.
so the first one is dealing with the Rawlings estate, which is the 100+ acres along 180th near our M2 impoundment. So apparently it's being purchased by another developer, and that is why nothing has come forward. He reached out to me the other day. I tried to call him back, he has not called me back to date. But I would expect that is now going to start moving more aggressively. So at both the county and our level. So I think he wants to meet with legal and engineering and staff to discuss the previous agreement, the conditions that we had discussed with the board. So just so you're prepared for that, will become so, and we'll try to find out more about the fire station along 180th as well, where
Right.
that is.
Right. They may not be so amenable to providing that land, or they may want to change their entire development, their site plan. So
which segues into another potential, and I don't have verification. I'm trying to get it from our local intergovernmental consultants. But there's probably movement with Lion Country Safari to look at that property. And the reason why I bring that up is it is key because of all the movement with the Okeechobee extension going out to Arden and then eventually connecting into Southern Boulevard. If you look at how 180th dead ends right there on what would be the western boundary of Lion Country Safari and goes right down their perimeter, right into what would be the Okeechobee extension. Which further, brings me to another point. It's not something you need to make a decision on tonight, but looking at the Palm Beach County Master Transportation Plan and the committee that they have formed, which is basically another committee, the makeup of that is mainly elected officials. In the past, there was discussions about either putting Mr. Foy or me on that. I think it's more important that, again, not tonight, but we'll put it on the next agenda. We have to join that committee and everything else, but you need to determine who has the time, because that is not a meeting that can be missed very often. And they will be working, I think, feverishly because there will be a push to try to get, some type of sales tax similar to what Palm Beach County had for the parks and other transportation infrastructure. Maybe for next year or certainly in the very near future, if it's not in 26, which I don't see how they can meet that deadline, but that's why
They are pushing for
Yes.
that deadline.
Yes.
So you're referring to the issues forum
yes,
specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very important that we get back on that. Because this is crucial that we have a seat at that table. So if we could actually, I don't see why we can't do that right now,
yeah,
honestly, because I don't think we should wait,
no,
because they're starting. So, I don't know. In my personal opinion, as much as I would love to do it, I think that, this might be something, for Mr. Vassalotti. And, but again, like Mr. Hanson said, you've got to go to those meetings. You can't miss those meetings. So, what are your thoughts?
I'd like to see a schedule of those meetings if they have that, and to see if I would be able to attend. I have a very busy, are these meetings in the morning, evenings?
I don't have that information. That's why I said bring it back at the September
Right.
meeting for a more formal vote, because you may need to formally approve it, just have it on the agenda, because a lot of these committees require that you have a formal noticed selection and appointment of the person or an alternate potentially for that. So
Okay.
you would technically probably need two.
Right.
Now, Mr. Foy or I could be the alternate, but I still think the alternate, it's probably important that it be an elected. And it's not because we're trying to get out of going to those meetings.
No, I know, because
Yeah.
it's going to be the other elected sitting at the table. So absolutely, we need equal voice. But I do like the idea of one of you as the alternate for sure. And I know you're both kind of busy, but, Mr. Foy, I think, I think Mr. Foy might draw the short straw. Okay, so, I guess just some minor direction, just, if you could get with Supervisor Vassalotti, find out the schedule, of these meetings. I think it's monthly in the morning. But don't hold me to that, because that could change this could be fluid, as they get further along with the consultants. So I know they just had a meeting last week or maybe the week before, and it was 10 o'clock in the morning in, Palm Springs.
Yeah.
So, right.
And it probably will be moving it.
Moving
around
it,
the
right,
county,
because
so
it-
you
right.
may be going to you may be going to Boca Raton, you could be going to Jupiter, you could be going to Belle Glade. So it's going to, or even Southwest, unincorporated Palm Beach County. And they could even have meetings out here. And again,
By right, they should,
yes,
just to actually put eyes on how different, yeah, especially for us, how different we are. So hopefully they will be doing that.
yeah. But as I said, this is something where you have to be committed to going to these meetings. Difficult. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So,
So again, I'll bring it back. I'll get the
Okay.
information out to all of you on what that is, what the meeting dates are. But as you said, they could be fluid. They could speed up because they want to hit a deadline.
right.
So, because we have
Could be
not
more than
gone to
one-
it.
more than
We
one a
just
month.
Watch from afar.
Yeah.
Because I watched the first one and it was just much ado about nothing.
Right. Because they haven't really gotten
Going
into,
to start.
they're going to start ramping up. Yeah, for sure.
And-
Okay.
And again, I just want to note, and I want to make sure I put it on the record again, not to belabor this, but when I met with the city managers who putting all this together on behalf of the county administrator and the county commission, they're very clear. They're looking at all roads. So all 430 miles of Indian Trail Improvement District roads are on their board, whether or not we agree to any of it, but I just want you, the public needs to be aware of that as well. This is just not looking at Okeechobee and 95 and US 1. It's looking at all of it.
No, master transportation plan throughout the county.
Madam President, just also, there's an interlocal agreement that the district would, if you choose to join this, you would execute, the board would execute an interlocal agreement.
Thank you. Very good. Okay.
That's all I have.
All right. Very good. All right. Moving on to public comment. Scarlett?
Mr. Dodd, you want to lead out?
Good evening.
My name is Christian Nandaro. Not a big builder, but I just started building custom homes and P-line. And I have just started 16280 P-line Boulevard. And I put out the mailbox. Like I can pass this picture around if you guys want it.
Is our problem now?
That's it, right? That's it. I was. I was told that I have to remove the mailbox and the garbage folder. Block there. I'm trying to improve, like Tahachi and this quality custom home that I just built there. It's increasing the quality of homes in Tahachi here and well, the money. And if you put the garbage on the grass, I mean, obviously it's gonna fall into the ditch and make a mess of the street. And this is why I just built this little thing to hold the garbage. Get it over, so, and that's it.
I'm assuming this is in the easement.
Yes, without looking at it.
Yeah.
I will be building the next lot next is west of it, another quality home. Two more, Sycamore.
So this public comment is not a back and forth. So what I'm going to ask you to do, if you don't mind, we have your phone number on the card. And Mr. Hanson will get back with you, probably tomorrow. and explain, the legalities of everything and what changes need to be made. Okay? All right. Thank you.
Renee Kelter. Well, that's a written one. With the board's permission, I'll say that last. Bob Morgan.
Hey, Bob Morgan, Acres Landowners Association, 1374 67th Street North. First, I'd like to correct this up, the web address of it's mentioned earlier, it's actually the statelandowners.com.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry. Okay.
But with Paul and with the petition for the West End Crossing, we do have the main links to those as well as AOA-poll.com. AOA-petition.com. Thank you directly for active polls. I have emailed Scarlett this evening. I've got some information that may help with this form just today. And I'd like to find out if it's possible, if we can possibly use the building this lady here on Tuesday. I think maybe 5 or 6 residents discuss something in the county commission with us. I think we might be very positive for this. I kept well, just find out what the people will find out. Okay. Later, if possible, I mean, we do have 2 meetings per month. See, short notes, but we find out that.
So why not?
I'd also vote that somebody will represent ITID that county. 20 express their concern about also, I put in a permit for the city's railroad from the tree. There was being approval. I was really like to just have a big food truck that events bounce house meeting. And like insurances and so forth. They have they possibly that room also. And also we need to be with the village. And which is something that we substance. We regularly start putting. I have let's see, for veterans, you actually register a particular spot, pay for it, and people who go, that's what call me. I feel morning trip Christmas. But they can throw it right online. Close food trucks and they really want. Really good situation. And that's about it.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Maria Elfring.
Hi, I'm Maria Elfring. I live at 12970 15th Place North. I'm wanting to talk about the drainage on 130th Avenue North again. It's the east side of the 130th Canal. And I'm just talking about from Persimmon to 60th. Where there's, the road and the easement, they're all slanted towards the houses. I know I went down, the other side of Persimmon to Orange Grove, and all of those are actually slanted the other way, and I think that's the way it used to be. But anyway, in July, we had a storm, and it only rained for like an hour, and it was pretty bad. And I do have visual aids if I'm allowed to pass them out. Okay, the first one, the first couple, this is the easement and it shows the canal and road in front of my house. And that is the actual easement, and you can see all the dark marks on that, or where the flooding was coming across the road. Here, I have more, keep going. That's one of the holes. And then this is my yard and the swale. And you can see the swale color is white because it's all drainage from the road. Which I know that's what it's supposed to do, but it's like, it was all coming in my yard again, and this is not the first time this year. It seemed like I went down the road, there was one other breach of that easement, and that was at 59th and 60th. It was right at that area, where there wasn't a house at 60th, and I know a lot of people fish right there, so, you know, they drive over that easement right there, and that's probably why.
Yeah.
And I went the other way, and it didn't seem like there was any big breaches like this, except for in front of my house. Not only does that happen, but the water comes down the road in both directions. It seems like I must be like the low spot. I'm not sure, because I'm not a surveyor to, you know, see what the depth of the road is and the easement. But anyway, you know, this was an hour. I'm really kind of concerned that if we have a big storm, you know, I'm concerned about my house. If it's not my house, it might be somebody else's, because it could be a random, you know, breach in that irrigation and that easement. So, you know, and I called for maintenance. And, you know, I did it online and I sent some pictures, and someone did come down the road and grade it. But that was it. Never had a call or anything. Let's see what else. Was that time I over 3 minutes?
Where are we? I don't, yeah,
Am I,
that was it.
okay.
Do you have her phone number on her card? We'll make sure somebody gets in touch with you.
Through the chair.
Yeah.
We'll have Mr. Schaefer call her and.
Thank you.
And set up a time to meet her
Thank you.
actually on site.
Please.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, you were here
I've been.
2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, she was here. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
already here, so we'll get in touch with you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Last name Jennings. Okay, they have one thing written that says, I am in favor of speed tables on Key Lime Boulevard.
Speed tables.
And then
Did,
this is my part and Ben Jennings' part was.
okay, do you have a card in?
Yeah.
Okay, and your name is Arthur Jennings?
No, my name is
Oh.
Arthur Suleiman. I'm a neighbor.
Oh, okay, okay, go ahead.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, he said he put a card.
My name is Arthur Suleiman. I'm your neighbor.
Can you lift the mic? You're very tall, so thank you.
Sorry, I'm
That's
your
okay.
neighbor in our community. I live in 17609 Key Lime Boulevard. It's end of Key Lime Boulevard. So we had too many children in our street, and we had too many racers in our street. Unfortunately, every day, every night, in our street, our like section of street, it's just half a mile. We have too many racers. They driving very fast. I don't have fences yet, and my wife, and families who live close to us, very how can I say, scared about these drivers. So that's why I'm here. I'm asking your help to fix it, to help with installation speed tables or speed bumps, something like that. If it's possible, I appreciate your help.
So normally this isn't a back and forth, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna speak with PPSO. If there's a pattern, so is it in the morning? Is it in the evening? Are you seeing it
Evening,
in the evening?
Yeah, or-
Roughly what time?
like between 2 and 10 p.m.
Oof, okay.
2 and 10 p.m.
All right, and 176 Key Lime. So are they heading east or west, or is it just both directions?
17609.
Right, right. So you're close to 180th, pretty close, right? So are they coming from that way, or are they going toward east or west? Which way are
As soon
you?
as they passing Mandarin Boulevard, I believe.
So they're heading west.
Yes.
Okay, westbound.
To the school, like direction to the schools. Yeah, yeah. And too
Okay,
many,
so it's 180.
also
Okay.
too many kids going to school by our street, and we don't have any signs at the end of the street, and we don't have any sidewalks. Like
Yeah, you're out of
stop
the
sign
school,
at
you're
the
out of
end
the
of
school
the street.
zone.
Nobody stay here. Like our kids, I have 3 kids, father of 3 kids, and my 2 boys going to school every day, and I'm going with them. We live in close to school, so we don't have bus, and they going by bike. At the end of our street, we don't have any stop signs. We don't have like sidewalks for passing the street.
Line? Okay, I'm gonna take care of it. Scarlett, will you give me his phone number, please, to after? Okay, thank you very much for bringing this to our attention.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Okay, I'll get the card and I'll speak with PBS. So just, yeah, and maybe a crossing, children crossing or something from the school. I just want everybody to be aware while we're on this subject, if you're seeing a pattern of speeding down your street, contact PBSO non-emergency and let them know, hey, between 2 and 4 o'clock, we see this a lot on 120th, and they were doing enforcement and it slowed it down. But now I was just actually saw recently some Facebook posts that it's happening again. So I want everybody to be aware, if there's a pattern, PBSO will send enforcement. And they will be around at that time and ticket people. You might have noticed on your way in, we've got some speed enforcement or reminders happening on right here on Avocado. So while they're not, police in their car giving out a ticket, they will do that for the residents if we're seeing this pattern. So you feel free to call the non-emergency phone number for PBSO if you're out there listening and you're having speeding issues. Because unfortunately, no matter what the speed limit is, people are doing 60, 70 miles an hour down some of our residential roads. And clearly the speed bumps are not solving the problem, and neither are, unfortunately, the 2-way stops that we have. Hopefully we can get some 4-way stops, and maybe people, at least if people are speeding and running the stop sign, the cross traffic is stopping and nobody's getting T-boned. Okay, next, Miss Scarlett.
Lou Palatone.
Good evening, everybody. Luke Colantoni, 7849 Coconut Boulevard. Just wanted to bring up a couple points. The shutdown of the railroad at North Lake is not a celebration. We should not be proud that it seems like it went well, because it's a travesty upon the people. It's another slap in the face to the Western communities. This could have been handled by government, and we should have listened to our county engineer 30 years ago when they proposed building a flyover. If they had built that flyover, we wouldn't have had to deal with this. My rides to work went from 35 minutes to an hour and 52. The traffic was tremendous. The road is not finished. It's still not complete. It's dangerous. I watch people take that left to right swerve in the morning, tilting on angles and almost running into each other. If you're coming eastbound on Beeline and you want to go west on North Lake, there are no signs to do it at all. There's not even any police there at 6 o'clock at night watching all the illegal right-hand turns going west onto North Lake Boulevard. And as a matter of fact, just the other night, a truck tried to make that illegal right-hand turn to go westbound and smashed head on into the temporary header that's there
to divide the lanes. It's crushed as we speak. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to get all the way in the left lane, which that lane is a short turn lane to go east on Northlake. It backs out into the lane where you want to go straight on the B line, causing a traffic jam. Then you're supposed to jump all the way over to the right, come around the roundabout, then go over 3 lanes on the B line, now going west, to go back and make a left-hand turn to go westbound on Northlake. And we're supposed to be happy about this. It's a failure. It's an abuse. The county commissioners have once again screwed the Western communities. We should have built George Webb's flyover 30 years ago when he asked the question, you're approving all these developments out here. What do you think I'm supposed to do with all this traffic? Should I build a double decker? Here we are 30 years later. We have still not, Jay, answered that question, have we? So the people are being taken advantage of, and the Western communities have no say. We're not incorporated, and we can't fight those fires with equal fire. The only way we can do this is to incorporate and have an equal voice. I'm asking all the citizens of our community to join the Acreage Landowners Association in a combined fight to build groups that will go down to the county and address these problems with the county commissioners. We need several hundred at a time to go down there and do it. And I just want to make one other comment. This is no endorsement of anybody on this board now or in the past, but I do want to make a suggestion. You're talking about sending Rich to these meetings and you can't miss them, right? It is absolutely ridiculous and abusive and technically illegal by an employer standard for me to hire a worker and pay them what you guys get paid, $67 a month that board members get paid. I would like to make a proposal that your salaries be raised to $1,850 a month, which would be a lousy $111,000 a year increase. And the way we're throwing raises all around this place, for the board members to be sitting here on the original salary from 1957 when this place was founded, I think it's ridiculous. You get what you pay for. And how are you going to have good representation when if this guy's supposed to go all these meetings, that won't even cover his gas for the month? So just a couple of comments, and that's all I've got to say. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Well, we can certainly contact Gardens PD and discuss the problem. It is a problem with the no right turn there. I personally, because they closed the westbound ramp. And will that be permanent? I don't know. But I went all the way down to the turnpike entrance and made the U-turn there rather than try to deal with that cluster that they want you to go through. Yeah, you're not supposed to. There's a big sign up there that says no right turn. Right. Okay, Kenny, it's all on you. But yeah, that is a problem. And it's, you were never supposed to make a right turn there. So, but with that closed, people are just assuming, hey, I'm just going to make it here. So they do need to address that. I will say that, celebrating the county and fire rescue and PBSO was well-deserved for what they did. This was only a small portion. It happened to coincide. This has nothing to do with the rest of the construction. And the county knew about that railroad crossing needed to be done for well over 2 years. And they were supposed to build a reliever road and it didn't happen. As we know, we have no say in what Gardens does and their voters decide. Unfortunately, that is correct. We have no say. And we have no say to build their roads or anything else. And that's why it is so important that we are involved in this master plan, because their roads affect us. Our roads don't necessarily affect them because they're not coming out here until all this commercial is built and they start coming out here, or the cut through traffic. But their roads definitely affect all of us, and they're going to see the same thing. Now they're closing the railroad at A1A at Donald Ross and another location. So they're going to be going through it, and we'll see how their PD and fire rescue measures up to ours when they do that, and see if hopefully it goes just as smooth. But we've got a lot of growth, and we want wider roads, and we want more roads. We've got to suffer the pain of those roads being built, unfortunately, because they're not going to wave a wand and have them built. But yes, I do agree that our say is our voices fall on deaf ears all too often, and I'll just leave it at that. Scarlett, next.
Okay, we have two written ones, one from Kevin Ferreira. And his question is, do we have an update on the easement for the horse trail project from 60th down to Persimmon?
From 60th to Persimmon.
Yeah. And then the next one is a written from Renee Kelter. I would like to address the issue of speeding on 168th Trail North. The speed limit is 30 miles per hour, yet vehicles are frequently traveling near 50 miles per hour. This is extremely dangerous, especially since there are children riding bikes and residents, including myself, who walk daily. I have personally had several close calls. Additionally, drivers often fail to stop at the stop signs at 168th Trail North and Okeechobee. I also want to address the recent repaving of 168th Trail North and South, as well as 168th Trace North and South, using the fine powder material. This material is causing significant problems when vehicles drive. Even in the speed limit, the powder kicks up onto the air, covering nearby homes, including mine. It lingers for a long time. It is difficult to breathe, and both my husband and myself have experienced worsening health issues since its use. I have allergies, and he has asthma. We are asking the town to take action. If these roads are to be repaved in the future, please consider installing speed bumps and other traffic calming measures. Without them, these roads will continue to be treated like major thoroughfares by speeding vehicles, putting residents at risk. Thank you for your attention and support for those of us who live here.
Scarlett, will you give me her phone number, please, and I'll call her tomorrow.
This was an online, and she did not put
We have
any
an
of that
address.
information.
Is there a way, Carrie, this might be a question for you. Can we require at least a phone number, if not an address? Because if we're making people put that information, yeah, okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So we just need a couple more boxes. I don't know if she's listening, Ms. Kelter. I will contact PBSO and have them keep an eye on the speeding. And Mr. Robinson, did we mill that road?
No, we have not, Chair.
So it's a dirt road. Okay, all right. So, okay. Because when she said recently paved, I think she meant graded. I'm assuming, and it's dry. And we are all having this issue. Yeah, I have it'll travel several hundred feet in this dry weather. So it is, yeah.
Through the chair, I can look in our files to see if she's called in.
That would be
Then we can
great.
have
And let
her.
me know. Yeah, because I'd like to speak to her. I'd like to try to narrow down the time frame for PBSO to get some enforcement over there. Okay. Carrie, do we have anybody online? No. Okay. How many people do we have online tonight? Hi, Paula. Go ahead.
Hi, I was late joining, so I'm not sure if anything was mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, but is there any update or any information as far as milling 130th Trail north of Persimmon?
please.
Yes. It is not in this budget cycle or the fiscal year 26, which begins October 1st of 25 for 1/30th. For the upcoming year, the 1 mile stretch of road is Cheatham Hill, which is a west road near in the M2. However, it just quickly, because I know you don't want to back and forth. One of the topics that Mr. Foy, our district engineer, and I are speaking about is bringing back an amendment for R3, which would include 1/30th and other roads. But that would be something the board would have to approve and then find future.
If we're gonna do that, we gotta get
funding for.
Orange Grove on
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Well, yeah, there will be several
Yeah,
criteria
several.
and maybe
Okay.
potentially designated roads.
So Paula, I don't have an answer for you immediately, obviously, but stay tuned. We're working on it.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Scarlett? That's it? Okay, fantastic. All right, let's move on. Does anybody need a break? Everybody good? 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 Okay. Let's move on to item 10 on the agenda, Facilities, Parks and Recreation. I would like a motion to, motion to approve a facility use permit for Chick-fil-A food truck. Request to use the district parks for pop-up food truck nights, subject to staff and legal review. Do I have a motion? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any public comment cards on this? 10-1? Nothing? Okay, let's call the question. All in favor? Passes 4-0. Okay, 10-2, facility use permit for Crime Stoppers of Palm Beach County shredding event. I'm looking for a motion to approve Crime Stoppers of Palm Beach County's permit request to host their shredding event, subject to staff and legal review. Motion, second. Any public comment? None? Okay. Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Let's see, so I don't have a motion on this.
Okay.
So it's motion to approve this subject to.
Correct. Subject to staff and legal review. And we have a motion by Supervisor Farrell, a second by Supervisor Johnson. All in favor? We're not going to get it, so just yell at me. Aye.
Do we have any?
Oh, there it is. All right. No worries. Thank you.
Did we request public comment?
Yeah, I asked. There was none. Okay, I think we all voted. All right, see that passes 4-0. Approval facility use permit for Legion Flag Football Corp. Motion to approve Legion Flag Football Corp's permit. Request to host their flag football practice at Citrus Grove Park, subject to staff and legal review. This is not going to interfere, Kenny, with anything we've already approved at Citrus Grove. Because I know we've got a couple of different leagues looking to practice there. That just, yeah. Yeah, it's a bad tech night. It must be static. Yeah, there you go. Something like that. Just speak loud.
So my biggest concern is providing out to mention, off this last week where out to figure out the space for everybody for that. And then you do have, obviously, in the fall, we do course out into the north. So we're getting dealing with the issue scheduling and that sort of. So fortunately, until slide ACT South is going to get started with, it should be mobilizing next week. There's not, that's the case, so it's only originally be about 2 months to get that project done. So that is, we should have that.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that this Legion Flag Football Corporation understands that their use is going to be subject to whomever came before them.
Correct.
Okay. All right. As long as that's all clear with them, and there may be times when they can't use the field because somebody else is using it until the multi-purpose field is done, which congratulations, by the way, I was going to bring it up later, but we finally got the okay from South Florida Water Management to put that artificial turf in the south expansion. So yay. That will open up a lot. All right. Do I have a motion?
Are these local? Are they local travel teams or?
This one, yeah, Justin puts in a bunch of permits. He uses Citrus for like baseball and other things. So it is a local group.
Yes.
My son is on the Legion team and my husband coaches. Should I have named these?
If it inures to your personal gain or your spouse.
I'm gonna abstain.
Okay, so you're gonna have to sign a document before you go home tonight. All right, so, motion, we have a motion by Supervisor Vassalotti. Do we have a second? Michael, you're the only one that can second it. We have a second. No public comment?
No, but I do have a clarification
Yes,
question.
ma'am.
The subject to scheduling, did y'all want that to be a part of the
Yes,
motion?
please, for sure. Because I don't want any misunderstanding or miscommunication with this league because we've already committed those fields. So I just want everybody to work together, right? There's room for everybody if we coordinate it properly. So, and I think with the new system, that's going to make it much easier to do as well. So. Yes.
And Mr. Lawrence, with your scheduling with the other teams and the Legion team, you would be able to give them advance notice of certain days that are available, correct? Thank you so much.
Okay,
Trying to keep it open.
excellent. And
They have
that's what its community is all about, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
In the new system, which I'm hoping to have fully functioning, it's online right now. It's just not active to the public just yet. Within the next 2 weeks, everything will literally be on. a calendar
Excellent.
that Everybody can see.
Excellent. So everybody will know when the fields are open and they can pick their dates.
Right.
That's great. It's great. Okay, so there was no public comment. We have clarification, correct?
Yes, I did not see in your things where I added.
Yes. Subject to staff legal review and subject to scheduling approval. Perfect. Okay, let's call the question. Conflict? Okay. then. All right, see that it passes 3-1, no, excuse me, 3-0 with one conflict. Okay, consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion by Supervisor Farrell, second by Supervisor Johnson. All in favor? I heard an aye out of Supervisor Johnson. Yeah, Scarlett's catching up. Technology. See that passes 4-0. Staff presentations. Mr. Hanson.
Thanks. So just again, thank you for the valuation. I really appreciate, again, all the hard work that you do. And as Mr. Tony said earlier, certainly, still making a 1957 salary. I also want to thank Mr. Robinson and the staff here. The workforce are great. Mr. Foy, Ms. Viator, Mr. Palin, team over there as well. So I'm doing something a little different for the monthly meetings. I want to put notices out, not the actual RFPs, but I want the board to know about any RFPs that we will be issuing. And clearly, once we distribute them competitively, then the board can go online and see them, or we can send them to you, desire. And then we're also going to be putting grant updates, any grants that we're looking at, so you have an advance notice of it. And if there are any issues, then it can be placed on the next agenda for consideration by the board if there's concerns about pursuing it. But I'll start with the grants because there are none, but I do want to let the board know that the FERDAP grant, which is a grant that we use for playgrounds, in this past legislative session, the legislature stripped it of, I'm not sure how much funding, but unfortunately our Downers Park playground application, along with some of the other accessory uses, was one of the victims of that defunding, so to speak, of that. However, they think in the next legislative session, they'll put it back up. So we're going to look for other ways to fund that. It was, I believe, a $50,000 grant. So we'll explore some other avenues for that because clearly we didn't budget for that. We budgeted for in the budget, but we may not get reimbursement. So that's something we'll have to come back to the board about. For the RFPs, we have quite a few, and let me just look at them so I don't miss any. But our first one that we want to put out on the street in the next couple of weeks is sod. This would be sod for all departments. So this is for on the swales, on the canals, in the parks, here at the administration building, all departments. Second one is mowing. This is specific to stormwater. So this would be for canals, cutbacks, and swales, because we still currently mow swales, and that's something that we want to come back later to see how the board would like to address that long term, especially now with the next year's budget having the drone. Maybe we don't need to do the swales, and the ones that we do are usually vacant, but as we know, there's less vacant.
And now that we're cutting them steeper, it's harder for the landowners to cut them themselves. So we do need to address that.
Yes. So there's that. Then, but that's just specific to stormwater. I'll get to parks here in a minute. Then there's hauling, which is for debris and materials. So while we have some in-house hauling, this would be from the aggregate from the M2, and also taking debris, like when we do canal reclamation or we have a storm or something at the parks, when we clean debris out, it would be for that as well.
Yeah, let me ask you a question while I have it on my mind and we're talking about it. When we're doing cutbacks,
yes,
are we going and picking up whatever we cut? Like, is there somebody following behind? Are we just leaving?
Yeah, depending on the amount of amount of material that we cut down, we do pick some of it up. What we typically do is if it's just a very light amount, once it falls down, we hit it with a flat mower, or we will kind of mulch it in place up at that point.
Okay. But if it's larger branches, we're picking that up.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Thank you. I just wanted to.
Yeah.
clarify.
And sometimes there is a large amount, so we do have to hit it a couple times. So we've had some resident complaints that need to be addressed, and we go back down and look at it, and we deal with that appropriately.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt you, but
No,
while I have this, we were talking about it. I wanted to.
So, and that's the other thing we want to do with the drones is if a resident wants, or a landowner wants to cut their own trees, they can do it. And
Well, we said last month that we were gonna notify them, give them the option, a certain amount of time, and then cut it, or we're gonna cut it, however, and it's not gonna be pretty, right? Because we're not landscape architects. So.
Yes. So, so I did the hauling. So the next one, as we stated earlier in the summer, we will be distributing an RFP for parks athletic fields. So this would be mainly for the ACP North and eventually probably the Citrus Grove general field or general play field. And then eventually, even though it doesn't require a lot of maintenance, it does require some maintenance. the new multi-purpose field number 1 on south expansion, which would be artificial turf. The other one, and I bring this up because I was just flabbergasted when we got the notice from PBSO, but they're increasing their security detail from, what was it, $67 an hour? Or 60 some dollars, I forget, I don't have it on here, to $88 an hour. So. Yeah. So anyway.
And we have a minimum, right?
Yes, yeah, I believe it's 4 hours. So that's a very expensive amount, and it's something that. So,
Go ahead.
oh, yeah. So I'm not saying anything about that. So it's something that I would like to speak with Captain Sant, because I think it's ridiculous.
We have a meeting next
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
We're gonna have a conversation about that.
Yeah.
They're getting a huge budget increase,
Yep.
so
Yeah.
we'll definitely talk to him about that.
Yeah, because just quickly, I think it's absolutely ridiculous that our taxpayers pay into PVSO and receive so little out of it. And the fact that they're charging us the same rate as the private sector, detail applicant is unacceptable. to
And I
me.
just heard somebody else is paying even less than that, so, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have a conversation
Yeah,
about that.
and that's just for a deputy. That is not like if they assign a sergeant, then it's even
It's
more.
right.
And so that's something we definitely want to address. So that's it for the RFPs, which are quite a few. Clearly, we're not putting these all out at once. It'll be over the next couple of months, and there's certain advertising requirements, just not by district policy, but even, potentially statute. So we have to meet all that.
Excellent. I'm glad we're gonna be doing that because we don't need all our eggs in one basket.
Yeah. And then I know Mr. Morgan spoke earlier. So, but next month we are bringing back, their service provider agreement expires. We're bringing back something similar, that we did with AAL, different for ALA, but like a nonprofit user agreement to the board to consider. Want to strip it of a lot of the requirements that just make no sense, for us to review like minutes and stuff like that. That's just there, and there are other things in there. But the one thing I would say about that is depending on how that goes, if it's similar to the AAL, if the board would consider potentially extending under the existing one, if you say you want us to work more on it and it's something you can't pass that or approve, or if you deny it, then it's null and void anyway. But if you say, hey, we want more work, and
Does it expire prior to our next meeting?
no, that's why.
Okay, so we could address it. I think it would be wise if everyone's schedule is open to have the same meetings the way we did with the AL, each individual board member, and discuss whatever. And then this way we can have staff can have a better idea if we'll need to do that or not.
Yeah, and I foresee it's much simpler than what the AA.
I would like to think it would be a lot less contentious.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah. I don't even mean the contentiousness.
Right.
I just mean the substance of it should be fairly simple.
Okay.
And then of course, he did talk, we're reviewing it. It will come in September. It'll be the similar permit and agreement that they did last year for Citrus Grove. Sorry, I'm just catching up here. Then we're working with Stormwater J again on a GIS implementation. Yeah. So, well, he's got a team.
That's what
there, so that's why I don't just say J.
And Dan, if you're still there, that includes you too.
Yeah. Yeah. But we'll be working on starting the implementation of the GIS, which will be key for hurricane season, as well as some of the other mapping and work order process that we have through Tyler. In October, Piper Sandler, who is our finance consultants for bonds, they have requested to be on the agenda, and I had a meeting with them the other evening. They want to talk because now the Fed is really starting to look at interest rate decreases, and then there's going to be some movement, I believe, with one of the regional presidents or chairpersons. I'm not sure what their title is specifically. They will be resigning, so they anticipate Trump will be putting in someone that will be pushing for even more decreases in the next year. So this will be a prime time, especially with the water and 640, and even potentially with Unit 20, with that bond, looking at refinancing if the interest rates are better.
Or even 4 something, I
Yeah, I
believe.
mean, you have a good rate.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
if we could get it down,
Yeah.
every dollar counts.
Yes. So, and again, it's only a 10-year bond, so we'll see.
Yeah, still 7 years to go though, so that adds up in
Yeah.
interest. So.
And then regarding the earlier comment with Key Lime Boulevard, I didn't want to bring it up then, but we are going to be removing one of the rubber speed
Thank
tables
you.
off of 190th. So this is not the cushion. So just so you know, the table goes all the way across. Cushions are the ones that go on each lane. We can relocate that one if the board would like to key lime.
No.
So, yeah.
But I would like to talk about, and I'm glad you mentioned it because I almost forgot about it, Mrs. Simpson on Hamlin. And she sent numerous emails. There is one, and you and I have talked about this. And I know, thank you. Okay, good. I don't know if you're listening, Mrs. Simpson, but it's finally going to happen.
Yeah, I had replied to her.
Okay, good.
earlier, and so
Good,
we
thank
can
you.
do that, and
All
we're
right.
just gonna-
It's right in front of her house and it's right where they come out with the sugarcane trucks. So if there's those rack body trucks, so when they're going over that thing, that's right in front of her bedroom window, it's like, and they're working 24/7 now so that they can get it done in 2 weeks instead of a month. So, which is great, right? Better for traffic, but she's got this going through all night long. So this has been a problem. So thank you for addressing that. Sorry to interrupt you again.
Yeah, that's okay.
What is the thoughts on?
Well, no, I'm asking.
Plastic
for
ones?
if
Yeah,
it's a speed-
no.
Yeah, I mean, we're just.
I think we get PBSO out there, let them have a presence and see where that goes.
These are the ones that.
It's the smooth
Not-
ride, yeah.
Yes.
It's
These are
the
not the
one
cushions.
piece. Because we have those on Tangelo. I think you have both types. You have the single lane one and then you have the flat top one.
So-
Why are we against putting something like that on to help with the speed?
I think like we talked about, we have to see,
Well, so through the check.
yeah,
Katie, so I was gonna suggest this, but I didn't want to put too much on our plates right now, but I'd like to come back with a traffic calming policy. It's not gonna be in September, where we identify roads that should have speed tables, roads that should have speed cushions or certain other elements to look at or criteria in all of this. And then also create an avenue where it's resident driven. So if they want it, they come, not like the advanced millings, but we have something not for the main roads like Key Lime or Avocado or Hall, but for the half mile, quarter mile, and even 1/8 mile, because the 1/8 mile roads, there are some of those along Seminole Pratt that connect either 168th or 162nd.
people are cutting
We
through.
have a lot of speeding on that short
Mhm.
stretch, but we really don't have criteria for that. That's been adopted formally by this board. So we have this master plan that we came up with 5 years ago.
But things change.
Well, lots of things have changed.
Right.
So just everything has changed.
And
since then.
I'd like, if the board approves, I'd like you to look into, the county's getting speed tables. So the speed tables don't require you, if you're doing the speed limit, you don't have to slow down, right? If you're speeding, you're going to feel it. And that's what we're trying to avoid, right? We're not trying to inconvenience the law abiding people. We're trying to stop people from flying down our roads before somebody gets killed. So why can't we piggyback on that contract? They're getting them for $6,600. And I know we were that back previous years, they were paying 20,000. And I know we paid up a lot of money, and the county said the other day, 6,600, was it yesterday, $6,600. They have an arrangement with a smaller contractor. So if we could possibly piggyback on that, I could get behind a speed table like we have on Orange out west. I mean, those are great, you know.
Through the chair. So we actually did piggyback off the county. That's why we're just looking at one another. And it wasn't, it's what.
Yeah, well, somebody needs to call Mr. Ricks tomorrow. So, because yeah, they're only paying $6,600.
Yeah.
And that is a much more reasonable price than why we ended up going to those plastic ones to save money. And you know, I witnessed, and I wasn't planning on getting into it tonight, but I witnessed, you know, some fire trucks going over it, and it was not pretty. Yeah, it was not pretty. And you know, especially when they're in a hurry, or you're in the back of the rescue truck, which is an ambulance.
So just quickly,
we've had that conversation.
So you know, and I hate saying this because I hate when people always say it, but my last place I worked, we had an in-house traffic calming where we actually formed those and built them. And Mr. Robinson is working on something like that, where to test it out to see if we're capable of doing it. Just like the sidewalks. Sidewalks are $15 to $20 a linear foot. We do them for $5 with in-house staff, with the equipment and the
That's
material.
fantastic.
So, you know,
And I know,
if we can.
yeah, and I know a great spot where you could test them on 70th.
Yeah. Yeah.
No comment.
Yeah, we'll probably test it on the entrance to the M2 impoundment to see how they do before we put it on an actual live quote unquote road. But that's something.
Yeah, because those ones are, wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we have that. And then I know tonight you approved the Chick-fil-A, but I asked Mr. Lawrence sometime in October, bring forward a food truck policy for the board to consider.
That's a great idea.
That is outside of events, because right now we just look at it when it's attached to like an ALA event or something like that. But we have people approaching us that want to go out there, but then, you know, it's something even that I know Mr. Morgan and I had a conversation where the ALA may like to try to do something like that, where it's not really any music or entertainment. It's just a food.
Right. And I know how everybody appreciated during the closure that they were able to go to their nearest park and grab dinner after sitting in traffic for 2 hours. And we captured a lot of traffic. So I think that was great. And I'm all for that. You know, the residents enjoy it. Everybody loved it. So, you know, this is what community is all about, right? It brings people together. It's not an event, it's not a party, but hey, I'm going to stop and grab dinner. And the food trucks know it's, you know, it's going to be hit and miss. They're not always going to make money, no matter what event they go to. And I think it would be good because then we'll have everybody's insurance and everything right there. And yeah, I want to go out, whatever. Yeah, okay. And we could set it up the way we do the fields. I think that's a great idea.
Then tonight, we didn't put it on the formal agenda, but at the last meeting, I had talked about, you know, Mr. Lawrence, Mr. Robinson and I had talked, and they did some work on numbers for the baseball. Like, how can we open up the press box? What's like the minimal amount of money and work that we would have to do? So we were going to do this, but then I forgot that next Tuesday, you have the parks, the strategic planning for Parks and Rec. So, and because Ms. Argue isn't here, would rather save that to get through next week. But we can provide those numbers to everyone. And we'll do that tonight. We'll email them to all 5 of you.
Great.
But instead of sitting here going over it and then having to do it again.
Right. Absolutely. Thank you.
So, So I appreciate you putting that together, but I just think that'll be better. You already gave the update, I'll let Mr. Lawrence talk a little bit about South Florida. And were you able to talk to the artificial turf vendor? If you want, you can just come over here and speak.
Yeah, just, you could sit right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I did talk to Wes at lunchtime today, and they're having an internal meeting tomorrow to discuss getting things set up. They're going to shoot to mobilize at the park sometime next week. They still are waiting on the final permit, but all departments over at South Florida have signed off on it. So they're literally just waiting on it being created.
Fantastic.
Got the green light.
Glad to hear it.
We're not the only ones that have been dealing with this issue. They've been dealing with it all throughout Florida, and this might actually give them the way to write it in the future. So unfortunately, we had to take the hit on that, but it'll.
Yeah, and if I may, I'd just like to thank Mr. Foy, because there he put some pressure and gave them some creative ideas on how they can approach this without upsetting the regulatory, which we will need them in the future for 640. So thank you, Mr. Foy, for your work, and also Mary McNicholas and Sluggett and Associates, because they also played a role in that.
Fantastic. Thank you.
If I may, one of the items that we improved upon, if we dropped the 1,000 feet of drain field, that will save you quite a bit of money.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I like every time you say, I'm saving you money. I like that. So thank you very much.
And then if you can just give them a quick status on all the parks, because you guys have been doing pressure cleaning and all that,
The guys have been busy, and obviously they've been keeping up with the parks, cleaning them up. The last couple of weeks, I did have some of the staff helping me with the upfront area. Some of them have never done tiling before, and we used it as a training session. So they were the ones that did some of the tiling, they helped with some of the electric and things like that. About 80% of that project was done internally, so we saved a lot of labor on that. We did sub out the AC and painting, but otherwise, I mean, the guys have been staying busy.
That looks great.
And since you asked for the RFP for the parks field maintenance, now Juniper has
stepped it up a little bit.
Yeah, even so
I'm glad to hear that.
But so we're certainly not going to discourage them from submitting.
Right, of course not.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
They still owe us, I'm still going after some plants that on South Expansion that they owe us, some in the Garden of Hope, and then some in some of the islands. They have agreed to replace those at their cost. But otherwise, everything else is where it really should be. Any of the burnouts you might see on the north side, that's more or less because of fertilization that they put down. It stays like that for a day or two, and then it goes.
And it's been very dry. So.
And it's weed free basically. It's one of the nicest ones around.
No, it looks very good.
And then it looks like we are on target for the sponsorships. So
fantastic.
Yeah. So I know Ms. Farrell has been involved in that, and the parks team and also Mr. Norton.
Excellent.
Also help garner some of the sponsorship.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that. Great work.
One final thing, the well over at ACP North has been replaced as well. So it's now
fantastic.
It's now proper sized.
Good, very good. So that'll help a lot.
Just to 4 inches, which is what it should have been.
Oh yeah. And I sent you an email, almost forgot because I didn't have it here. It was so new. So FEMA did approve 400,000 for Coconut Park.
Fantastic.
$50,000 match. We're not going to do probably any of that in-house because we just don't have the staff resources or the equipment.
And we need to have it done by April.
We have to have it done by April. So it will be contractual.
And everybody will be happy when that park's reopened.
Yeah. So that was a good job by Jason Lester, Kenny, Rob, and others who worked on that to get that reimbursement. Miss Cantley over there also played the role. So thank you.
Thank you all. Very good.
We have Kenny was doing stuff. I know we're looking at doing the pickleball tennis court resurfacing. Have you found a facility that I would like to go look at? Do we have a local facility?
I haven't spoken to him the last couple of weeks because I've been busy with that. I was on vacation last week. I'll call him tomorrow and see what we can.
Okay, perfect. And then my other question would be for 140th. I didn't drive this way today, but what's the progress on 140th in the paving?
Yes, substantial completion is set for September 3rd. 61st and Tangerine are pretty much done. They're sodding Tangerine right now, so we're going to do a final a walkthrough on that next week. We're waiting as built on that. 140th, they have the rock finished from 61st all the way up to the entrance to the southern entrance to ACP. They're going to be continuing north. They're going to pave that last section all at once, so it's a full pull all the way down. So hopefully the weather holds up 2 more weeks, it'll be paved 100%.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay. All right, supervisor business, Mr. Johnson. Nothing. All right, Mr. Vassiletti, go right ahead.
Thank you, staff, and for those of you who have stayed. All right. The stop signs that the board approved for 50 stop signs, 48 out of 50 have been installed. Is that correct, Mr. Hanson?
Yes.
That's excellent. So even though we're still not at our 4-way stops and I'm still working on it.
We have a meeting scheduled.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yep. That's still tremendous to get those stop signs installed with the 2-way cross traffic signs. I'm very pleased that that has happened so quickly. So thank you for that.
And just
Yes, sir.
quickly on that. So the reason why we're waiting on the 2 is it's not the LED stop signs we're waiting on. It's a small cross traffic stop signs because the board asked for that. So that's what we're waiting on for the last 2.
There is another one, and I don't think it was on our list. And almost every time I go that way, which is often, somebody's almost getting T-boned, Mandarin and 60th. Because nobody's expecting anybody to go west or come from the west. Everybody just assumes there's nothing out there and everybody's going to turn on Mandarin. And I've had people pull out in front of me, more than I'd like to say. So can we also get an extra one while we're at it to put on that stop sign? So people are maybe aware that, and they're big and I really like them a lot. They're visible. 60th, Mandarin and 60th.
Which 60th? The county 60th?
Yeah, the county's 60th.
We'll have to run that because that's county.
Well, the stop sign is on Mandarin, not on 60th. So Mandarin is ours.
Yeah, but we'll have to look at it.
All right.
I'm asking that because Jay was looking at me and I was
Right.
thinking the same thing. Go ahead.
I believe it's our jurisdiction ends at the M Canal. Not where the stop sign would be at 60th, but we'll look into it.
Okay. And if not, maybe ask, county if they could put one because it is very dangerous right there.
Yeah. We set up a meeting with Mr. Vassiletti and Mr. Ritz and Mr. Foy and I, so we'll have Mr. Vassiletti.
Add that to your list.
Yeah, with his arm.
That one I'll be there for certain.
Thank you. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
Thank you.
All right. One of the residents brought up online comments about the 130th Avenue and trail millings, and somebody asked me about that recently, and I said I would bring that up. So we're looking at that for next year's budget.
Well, not for fiscal year.
I mean,
Yeah.
the following.
Well, I think what we're looking at is a holistic picture of all these roads, Mango, 130th. We have an idea on vacating 168th Trail
Right.
and Terrace on the east side and turning that into actual storage for the mini basins of the M2. Because there's already ways for them to get into their driveways, and we come up with some creative ways, even if they do have a driveway on 168, to get them to a road and still have drainage storage. So it would be looking at all the roads that currently are not captured in the R1, R2, R3.
Okay. Have we ever, were you finished?
Yeah, I was
Okay.
gonna say be millings, or it could be asphalt. That would be based
Sure.
on engineering recommendation.
I mean, there's a lot of, I think that would actually help alleviate some traffic, maybe off 140th and Coconut. There's a lot of traffic that's coming down it now. And you guys are grading it, what, twice a week? It almost seems like.
There are many, many weeks where we are grading it
Right.
twice. We usually try to do it once a week, but it just depends on the condition.
And the rain. Okay, thank you so for that. Anything further on a towing policy?
We'll have to, have to.
Okay, good. So that's through legal.
It's through legal and it would be with procurement because it's a bid and also with Parks and Rec.
All right.
Because of some of this, especially the scenarios you're talking about are really in at ACP and some of the other parts
Okay.
blocking emergency access.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that up. So last Friday was the first night of adult softball. And we had the ALA out, I'm sorry, just like you, the Acreage Athletic League out there. And I was out there and I tried to count how many people were out there by grouping them in groups of 20. I bet we had 400 people out there between the football fields, the adult softball, the playground. It was fantastic. It was really, really fantastic to see how many residents were out there. I have been out at the fields for about 3 times in the last week, really looking at the softball fields and the football fields. The grass is looking really good. So thank you for that, Mr. Lawrence, and your crew and Juniper. I did speak with adult softball, Elizabeth on the board. Just asked her how things were going for the first night. She said things were going very well and if they were happy with the fields. We do know clay is going to be an issue. It was a little bit soft, and we've discussed this in the past. So we're going to, one of these days, hopefully in the near future, we're going to have to really start looking at the clay. Something I did notice was we have this awesome batting cage out there with a concrete deck. It has enough room for 2 lanes, I believe. And, but the netting on it is not good. And some people have mentioned to me, hey, what can we do with this? And I said, I'll find out. So maybe that's something we can look into and getting the batting cage with a net and take some measurements. Maybe we can get 2 lanes in there. There's also 2 L screens out there for when somebody's pitching, and so they can not get hit with the ball by the batter. Those will need to be re-netted or even redone. They're starting to fall apart. So I would hate for a ball to pass through a net and hit somebody. So maybe we can look at that right away. And would you please, you guys know I'm all about taking care of the residents out here and their safety. So as I've spoken in the past, years ago, I was able to get that when I was working for fire rescue, I was able to get that large gate on the south end of the parking lot of ACP North. So our rescue ambulances could get out there. It was brought to my attention, and I also noticed myself that there are cars, they weren't blocking the gates and they weren't parked in the spot, but the yellow striped off areas for in the event we need an engine and a rescue out there, or even more depending on the severity of what kind of patient we have. Cars were parked in the yellow striping. I know I mentioned in the past about cones and maybe just getting some cones out there that says fire rescue only. I think that would be really helpful. I know we're limited on parking, but I would really hate to not be able to get a space in there for an engine and a rescue if we had a serious injury out there. Or then we've seen it in the past when it gets really, really crowded, people will park in front of the gates, and that's not good. So, and then let's see here. I got some comments on the paving of 61st from my family across the street there. They're ecstatic about that. I wish that was there, that paving when I was there, but better late than never. And I also have some friends that also live off of 61st and 140th. They're very excited. So a lot of the, obviously those residents are going to be very happy with this. It seems like it's going to be done in time, Mr. Robinson. So, I know there's discrepancies on social media. What's taking so long? No, this was an end of August project and it looks like it's on time, correct? Yeah, thank you. Food trucks, what kind of response did we get with the food trucks during the shutdown? Did it seem like we got a lot of people interested? I know there were some times that some nights, maybe like especially in this parking lot here, we had a pretty full crowd. I heard that we had some full crowds at others, and maybe it was hit or miss. Do you have anything official on that?
I mean, you nailed it. It was hit and miss. Obviously, it rained for a bunch of those nights. ACP did the best, obviously, because the league was out there.
Okay.
Everybody seemed pretty happy about it. So having food trucks at the parks moving forward would make sense. I didn't really hear anything negative.
Yeah. I mean, I saw a negative comment on social media about, oh, people need to stay home. Well, a lot of people did stay home during this event that we had with the close down. And I got the idea from Palm Beach Gardens, and they set up some food trucks and some activities, around the Sand Hill Crane and the golf course there. And I stole their idea, and the person from Gardens who's on the council is a friend of mine. I said, I'm stealing your idea and I'm going to bring it to the board here and the staff. And I thought it was a fantastic idea that they had in it. And I think the residents who took advantage of it used it. And so instead of having to travel out of the acreage, you got to stay in the acreage, because what we found out was, and I'm gonna touch base on the North Lake thing here in a second, that the traffic was mostly bad making your way into the acreage, particularly Okeechobee and the extension. Once you got in, it spread out, and it really went smoothly. So as far as that, I thought the food trucks were great, and a lot of people seemed very happy about it. I just didn't know if there were any official numbers on it.
Yeah, we did not have staff there, so that's why I didn't send you any data. But
Okay.
perhaps you can reach out to the food trucks and see if they can give you some numbers.
Yep, we could reach out to them.
Right.
I mean, personal opinion based off of what we're seeing and things like that. If we're going to do something more permanent, it may make sense just to pick zones and pick certain parks, and that would be the designated parks. And that way we're not bouncing people around constantly, and they would have a park they know they can go to. We could set out a schedule and they'll know who's going to be there.
Okay.
We'd probably make it easier.
Okay, thank you. And the last thing, I'll try to make this really quick. So the North Lake closure, I'm just going to speak on Mr. Colin Tooney's comments about a celebration. Sir, I don't think anybody was celebrating about this, and it was an inconvenience, but knowing a lot of the details behind why this happened, the damage to the Amtrak trains, the fear of a derailment, and the county did know that this was coming for a long time, and CSX couldn't wait any longer. They had two trains were damaged, Amtrak, and they were fearful of a train derailment. So it had to happen. But I applaud our residents, and I've spoken to some people, and I even have some sources in IBIS that I talk to every once in a while, and a lot of people hunkered down, and I thought that was really nice of them. A lot of people changed their schedules. Some people went out of town. Some people stayed home, and some people dealt with it. And I think our residents and our neighbors along North Lake there did a good job with it. We had fire rescue and PBSO, had a command post at Station 28, which is at Royal Palm and Okeechobee, and Supervisor Accomando and I were out there a few times. And to go back into that, I have not been in a unified command post in quite some time, and to see what was actually happening and reconnect with a lot of people on the PBSO side and fire rescue that I haven't seen in a long time, and the work that they did that people don't even know about in relation with Mr. Rick's team from Palm Beach County, the coordination, and that's why you have a unified command post. They had the computers and the monitors, and they're watching the cameras, the traffic, and they're making adjustments of timing. And then you got the PBSO with the pickles and constant radio communication. It was fantastic. And so it wasn't really a celebration, but what was amazing about it is that in the event of a more serious situation, such as a train derailment at North Lake and Beeline, and this has to happen again, where, hey, we really need to get residents out, and it's not summertime, and it's during the school, and we need an evacuation, and we know we need evacuation routes. We know we need State Road 7 done. We know we need Avenir, Coconut to go through Avenir. And I know Mr. Webb, Lou, and you're right. I wish there was a flyover out there, but it's not there. And there's a lot of people have resisted these things. So people are trying to do what they can. For the most part, we know who's opposed to things. We know who's for them. But in the event of a true emergency, a true evacuation, I think this was really good for Palm Beach County Fire, PBSO, F.2 have gotten together and go, hey, we can move some cars out of here. And they really did. And I noticed the timing differences on the signals myself just driving around. So the celebrations, I applaud them on a good job of doing it and CSX getting the tracks done as quickly as they did. And I think that's it. That was a lot for me. I don't know we talked that much.
And before you're good. Okay. I'm going to add something that FDOT contractor said during the meeting at Locks Groves because he wasn't able to attend ours. They are making the signalization at that intersection as well as the ramp getting onto the turnpike to accommodate another set of rails. That's coming in the future. So I want everybody to kind of be prepared because we are going to go through this again. They're going to have to close the road to put that second set of rails in. So when, they did not say, but at least they're preparing what they can in advance. So the turnpike ramp is going to be wide enough and the stanchions that hold the ramp up are going to be wide enough to accommodate those tracks. So they're doing that job once. So good forethinking there, but I just want everybody to be prepared. This may not be the last time. And now we know, like you said, that the Unified Command is on it and they'll get it done. And hopefully it'll be in the middle of summer and not right before the school year starts. Again, I just, I don't have much. We know we've got some county meetings and workshops coming up. I'm a little concerned. It was brought up to do some serious subdividing down south on a 1.6 acre lot that has an underlying land use of 5 and 10. So we need to keep an eye on what happens there because what happens there could happen here. And I hope that everybody goes to the West End Crossing, fills out their polls and their petitions of what they'd like to see there. We have to remember that this property is sold. There are some property rights. I wish we could go back to the days where property sales were contingent upon zoning approval, but it doesn't seem to be like we're there anymore. They're buying with the anticipation that they're going to get approved for what they want. And while a gas station is quite profitable and a safe tenant to have, unlike some other things, I hope that the landowner listens to the residents, and I hope that the county does as well. I'd like to see a good majority out there. I know it's difficult for people to get to county meetings. I will be there, Mr. Morgan, so just so you're aware, as I will be for their other workshop that they're having on Wednesday. The FPL property that is being worked on, we did not put it on the agenda because we're not quite there yet. The attorneys have been working diligently on the issue we're having with the M2. That meeting is coming up late next week. And they need to have another meeting with Mr. Sweet, go over some things. They will be contacting each board member to go over what we've been discussing over the past several weeks. And we're close, but they do need to hear from us on some things, on some of the issues. So they will be doing that. And come September, we should be ready to go and move on from that. And I hope that that's the case because we need to move this swiftly. We don't want to drag this out any longer than need be. I'm grateful for the RFPs and that the board is being made aware of that. I think that's very important. And it also adds for a lot of transparency to the residents and to the board. So, while we know, we have conversations, but The community doesn't know. And while they may not be watching the meetings, they can always go back. We can refer them to the meetings, and the agenda. So I think that's great. And thank you to everybody. Yeah.
You were finishing.
No, you're fine. Good.
And one more thing, when I spoke about, I have some contacts in IBIS. I've been assured that there are a lot of residents in IBIS that want State Road 7 completed. This may not be the IBIS of 30 years ago where, you know, they were this little new neighborhood that has flourished out there that I think they're built out. And a lot of, I call them the old timers who thought it was a great idea to perpetuate a lie and not have a road that's been planned since 1948. It wasn't the right thing to do. But these new residents that have moved in there, and you have some younger residents in there, they want the road and they don't want to cut through the acreage. And there's times they want to go south and they don't want to head east on North Lake to get there. So I have heard that, and I was assured that there are a lot of people in IBIS that want it. So I'm hoping IBIS, sure nobody from IBIS is listening right now, but I do speak up about this stuff from time to time. I do wish I was still on the Transportation Agency Citizens Advisory Committee. Commissioner Baxter chose not to put me back on that board. And because I did speak for almost 3 years every month about State Road 7. So there you have it. Thank you.
And I'll just to add to that, when we had our emergency meeting, we had 30 or 40 people from IBIS, and I think there was only one person that was still adamant that they didn't want that road open. So all those residents have been there, and they said, we wanted it the whole time, but their voices weren't heard because it became political. And we can't be political with public safety. That's the bottom line. So thank you, everyone. And I now need a motion to receive and file our reports. We have a motion. Do we have a second? And let's call the question. Let's vote. It's okay. Gotta get used to it, so it's okay. And see that passes 4-0. And with that, this meeting is adjourned.
Is that record time? 2.5 hours?